Welcome home to St. Anne's. We want you to know that you're welcome to join us at 10 a.m. on Sundays. Please be sure to hit subscribe to receive our sermons. We can't wait to meet you.
God is dead. Hallelujah. I'm in a church, right? April Fools. Let's try it again. God is dead. Thank you. All right. Man, don't tell the bishop. Do not tell the bishop. All right. Hallelujah, hallelujah. The Lord is risen. There's my good Episcopalians. There they are. Happy Easter. All right. Also, it's April Fool's Day. So keep that in mind. If someone were to say to you, God is dead, it's a joke. It's a joke. It's not true. Alrighty. So, Easter is a tough service to preach at because it's one of those where y'all have heard this. I hope. I already screwed up God is dead, so let's hope we've all heard this story. We know the ending. We know what happens. And yet it's a beautiful, beautiful story, and it's so worth going back to every year. And so we do this. So we're going to go back to it because I absolutely love it. One, I love the irony because the gospel writer is John. John likes to point out that John is the beloved disciple. He's like, I don't know if you knew, but me, I'm the good one. Just his favorite. Like the older sibling complex. I'm the youngest sibling, so I get to say that. I'm the favorite. I'm like, I'm just saying I was the last one, so clearly they realized when I came, they'd finish the job. So, but John has oldest sibling, and all the oldest siblings are like, well, yeah. And so he likes to make sure that we know. And so there are a couple lines in here that I always like to point out because I think they're really funny. One is the foot race. Like, seriously, a foot race? Come on, John. Like, do you have to point this out? But there's a foot race. And he's like, well, I'm just saying the favorite one got there first. That's me. I got there first. And so he has a couple lines in there where he likes to point out that he's the favorite. But really, the beauty of this story is, I think, the incredible moment with Mary Magdalene. And maybe it's because I'm a crazy feminist. Not that any of you knew that already, but I am. But he has this incredible moment. And so the disciples have gone, they've seen this, they're like, oh, that's cool. He's missing. Huh. And they go home. And you're like, dude, don't you feel like this is significant? His body's missing, which means either we've had tomb robbers or something crazy is going on. They're like, well, that's fun. Let's go home. And Mary, who has already come because it's normal at that time that the women will go and take care of the body for quite some time. And so she's gone to prepare the body some. And she notices that he's missing. And instead of going home, she stays. She lingers because she's mourning, because she is convinced that someone has come and taken the body away, which was a concern at the time. The reason they put that big stone in front of it is because there were two concerns. One is that for the disciples, that he'd be gone and someone would rob the tomb. But also, a lot of the Jewish leaders were concerned that the disciples would come and take the body and be like, oh, look, he's gone. It worked. He's not here. And so there had been a big effort to make sure that the body was preserved. And so the fact that he's not there and the big rock is gone is troubling. And so she's very upset because he's gone. And she, you can imagine how traumatic this moment is for her. And I want us to take a moment to consider how traumatic a moment this is. That she's been through all of this stuff with Jesus. He's been murdered, and it's a heinous way to die. And it's just been an awful, awful experience. And now, the last thing that she has in her mourning is to care for his body. The last way that she has to show love for him is to care for his body. And it's gone. She doesn't have that anymore. So there's nothing left. There's nothing left. And if you've been through the trauma of death, you realize what this is like. It eats you from the inside because it's final. It's gone. Like everything, all those memories, all those important moments, you feel like they're gone. And it eats you alive from the inside. So can you kind of, maybe a little bit be where she is? And so she's mourning, she's grieving. And she's so focused on her grief that when she sees this man behind her, she doesn't realize who it is. And all of us are like, seriously? Like, you don't recognize him. You think it's the gardener? And don't we all have the gut reaction of like, what's up with that? But I think it's incredibly powerful because here's the thing. How often do we become so consumed by what is going on for us, our grief or whatever we're focused on, that we cannot see what is around us. We are so focused in that moment, in that stuff, that we cannot see outside of it. And it is not until she hears her name cried out by the risen Lord that she realizes who he is. And that's incredibly powerful because for many of us, and that is an image that John likes to use, it is not until we hear God that we see God. And I think it's a beautiful, beautiful metaphor. Remember, John loves playing with sight. He loves playing with seen and not seen. It's one of his favorite things to work with. And so she does not see until she hears him. She does not recognize who it is until he calls her by name. I want us to hear that because all of us, it's so, so easy to be consumed by all the things that we have going on, to be consumed by our grief, to be consumed by what we've screwed up, to be consumed by our work, to be consumed by things that really are not the things that we're called to at all. And yet, they consume us so much so that we cannot recognize the risen Christ standing right in front of us. And that is the message of Easter, because it's a time in the year where all of us are like, oh, crap, I got to go to church. And don't you think I don't know that you did that this morning? I know. Don't you think I didn't do that this morning? I did. We all do it. You think I don't know, but I know. But it's incredibly important because it is in this moment that we're like, oh yeah, that's what I live for. Oh yeah, that voice that calls my name, that says, hey, Meg, stop what you're doing. Stop worrying about the Cadbury eggs. I'm really concerned about the Cadbury eggs, though. They're very low this year, and I'm having a hard time getting them. I'm very concerned about them. And yet, it is in this moment that we are called to look up from the things that consume us, the things to which we are not actually called, but they consume us, the things that we are sad about, the things that we feel guilty about. And you think, you don't feel, I know that we all have things that we feel guilty about. We do. We have all the things that are like, oh yeah, I was supposed to do that. Oh yeah, I could have done that better. Right? I'm not the only one. Please tell me I'm not the only one. Otherwise, this sermon's going to get really awkward. But we all have the things that consume us. And on this Sunday, in this moment, I want you to hear the voice of the risen Christ calling you, your name, saying, hey, look up. Stop. Take a break. Look up. Because it is when we are looking up that we realize that these are the things to which we are called. And it's easy to get sucked in, isn't it? It's super easy to get sucked in by all those things. But today, in this moment, we are called, look up. Because if you look down, you're going to see all the petals from the flower. I got to vacuum that up later.